Well, here's something a bit different for you. In this video, I'm going to show you how to look good on YouTube. And I'm going to show you my own process that takes me from this to this in about maybe 2 or 3 hours. So these two images are actually taken just a few hours apart, and I'm going to walk you through the exact process that I go through to make that happen. There is no Photoshop or anything like that. I can assure you, you'll see the whole thing. Funny thing is, I actually think the one on the right looks a bit creepy. But in any event, I'll show you how this works, and maybe this will interest somebody. Nobody's looking at this guy and saying, there's a great looking guy, right? Nobody's saying that. And you have to be aware of your weaknesses and your strengths. I'll be talking about the strengths later on, but let's start with the weaknesses. One of my huge weaknesses is that my skin is so damn pale and I've got all acne and everything. It's just awful, you know. I could never go HD with a face like this. However, we need to be aware of those vibes, and our first step is choosing clothes that will work well with the hand we've been dealt. And it's all about colour. So you see how I was saying that I've got a really pale face going on, right? Check this out. If I take a dark colour, let's say this nice t-shirt here that's inside out, right? Now notice that if I chuck this here like this, do you see how that looks awful? See how it just makes me look even worse, right? But if I take this strange salmon-y coloured shirt which needs ironed and go like that, can you see how suddenly the flash of colour lightens up the face? See? So the first thing that you want to do is get a full-size mirror, I've got one over there, and just eye up some different colours, and do this in the shop as well. You don't need to try the stuff on at this stage, just do that and check that the colour works for you. Now I'm going to be going with either a white shirt or this one. I'll probably do this one for a wee change and I'll need to iron it. But you want to find the colours. If you've got dark skin, something like this would be good. I'm quite light skinned, so I have to keep it light, okay? So that's step one. I'm going to go iron this sucker. Alright, oh, pardon me. I sounded like Madge from Neighbours there. Alright, so that's the ironing sorted. The next step is we're going to get a bath and maybe get rid of some of this scruff on my face. Do you remember baths, anybody? We're going to get one of those. You can see I have my fabulous beach towel hanging up here. And because it's a makeover, of course, I do have to tell you all of the products I'm using. So for this bath, I'm going to be using a bar of soap and possibly some shampoo, possibly. So I'll be back in just a sec. Bath time! Alright folks, that's me out the bath and as clean as a whistle. Let me tell you something, it was a spectacular process. I went in there a fat bloater, but as soon as I whipped those clothes off, let me tell you, suddenly all these incredible bulging muscles appeared from nowhere. I never realised I had such a perfect body. It was incredible. But in any event, that moment has now passed, and now we move on to the next part of the process, and that is, yes, the gnashers. We need to have good teeth. Your teeth are a primary identifier, and you need to have, no, not good teeth, great teeth. And I'm going to show you how to have great teeth. Check it out. You know, a few years ago I had an incredible idea for an invention. I thought, how come nobody has invented a car wash for your teeth? You know, like a jet wash thing. So that'd be really cool. Anyway, turns out somebody had invented it. So my secret weapon when it comes to the old gnashers is this little beauty here. Now I am reluctant to flaunt the brand because there are loads of these and I don't know who made the first one. Somebody is ripping somebody off. You know how it goes, right? But if you look up on either, your favourite shopping site of choice, the phrase you want to look up is oral irrigator. I believe that's what they're calling these things. And this thing will give you Hollywood teeth in 2 weeks, I guarantee. I used to have teeth like sugar puffs until I started using this. Now, normally, I would actually do this kind of like a car wash, and I would take half a bottle of mouthwash, just a full half bottle, and whack it in, and that would be the first thing I'd do. Unfortunately, the shops were a bit insane today, and I wanted out of there as quick as I could, so I'm going to be just using distilled water, right? Distilled water's pretty magical, and I use it for everything, you know? So that is going to be the secret ingredient. And phase one is, like I say, normally I would use mouthwash for phase one, but distilled water is going to be just fine. And you'll need an old receptacle here of some sort. And I'm just going to give my mouth a good old rinse with this thing. It's actually incredibly powerful if you want it to be, but I'm going to go on about a medium setting, right? So here we go. Alright, so I'll kick in here and speed this one up. But teeth are quite an important category. I really do believe that your teeth are a primary identifier. And if you've got really rubbish teeth, man, it's just going to ruin the whole vibe, you know. So I have a 5-step process for making my teeth look good. The first step you're looking at is rinsing. Then I brush with well, here I'm using I'm using one of those Braun toothbrushes, but the truth is you're better off getting one of the Sonic ones. They're only a few dollars, you know. Get one of those Sonic toothbrushes, you know, and you want that as phase 2. For the third phase, I use a normal or a traditional toothbrush. The one I'm using here has got a carbon tip on it, which is the reason why it's black in colour. But don't worry about that. Any normal toothbrush with a soft or medium bristles will be fine. And what you want to do is just slowly brush from the gum line. If you're going from the top into the gum line and then down slowly all the way along, and then for the bottom teeth into the gum line and then up. The big mistake that most people make is they don't brush from the gum line, and a lot of people get yellow bits there and all that, and it's not good. I heard it straight from a dentist. You should brush right into the gum line, and even if your gums bleed, that's okay, don't worry, that's normal. That's not me talking, that's my incredible dentist. So that's the phase there. After that, I do another quick rinse. Now this is where I would normally use distilled water, which is really magical for sucking in impurities. And finally, the last thing I would do is, believe it or not, I would get a cloth. And it doesn't look too graceful, you know, rubbing a yellow dishcloth into your face, but I can assure you these are brand new and this is actually acceptable. It's funny, people used to use cloths to care for their teeth for hundreds of years, and we stopped and we switched to brushes. But let me tell you something, of all the different phases, this is the one that makes the biggest difference. When you polish your teeth with a cloth, they really do feel like glass, you know. So that's what I do, and then maybe just a quick rinse, and that's them finished. Oh, just one more thing, it's about toothpaste. Now, I have field tested tons and tons of toothpaste, expensive, cheap, and everywhere in between. My findings are that it's not really worth wasting money on expensive toothpaste, so I'm going to be just going with good old-fashioned Colgate. Ding, 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 ding. Alright, now the next step of this interesting process is I'm going to do the old eyes here. Now, I have light hair run about, which is a bit of a, you know, eyelashes and whatnot, which is okay, but it makes you look like you're just out of your bed all the time. And a friend of mine, a female friend, insisted that I go to a beauty salon. She dragged me in, and I remember I got my eyelashes tinted, and for days and weeks afterwards, people were going, "What have you done? You look amazing," you know. And I'm completely out of the closet as a guy who gets his eyelashes tinted sometimes. So I'm going to do that just now. And I've usually got someone who does this professionally, but I'm going to just try it myself. And let me just see how that goes, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so what I did is I've whacked... This is not the final piece, stay cool. I whacked Vaseline around my eyes and my, you know, the places where you don't want it to go, right? And that's something worth taking the time to do, right? So I've done that in case there's any, so you know, if there's any accidents, I'll be okay. And now basically I have to wait for 10 minutes with this on, you know. I chucked a wee bit on my eyebrows as well, and I thought I'd see how that goes. This is actually the first time I've done this for years, like more than 10 years on my own. I normally have someone else do it for me, but it should be interesting to see how it turns out, you know. And if you're wondering what I've used, it's actually that beard dye just for men, the stuff for dyeing beards. Apparently you can use that for eyebrows and eyelashes, a little tip that I picked up right here on YouTube. Anyway, in 10 minutes I'm going to rinse this off. It shouldn't be too noticeable, but just hopefully just there. And all I'm trying to do is just get the eyes popping a little bit, you know. But hopefully it won't be too dramatic. Okay, that went badly. It basically came right off, and it's really irritating my eyes. So doing that on my own was a bad idea. That's the first mistake I've made, and I'll note that for the future. So next time I'll get, what's her name, Shelley in, that's her name. She normally does it, and I've just had a hard time getting in touch with her lately because everybody's busy and it's all a bit crazy out there. But next time I'll do that. In any event, the effect is always supposed to be kind of subtle. I will never have eyes like Michael Jackson, but what I can do is maybe make myself look a wee bit more awake. Although right now it looks like I'm probably stoned because they're all bloodshot. But anyway, you get the idea. Let's move on to the second last, or one of the, maybe second or third last thing, which is I'm going to sort out these wee side panels. Now, I'm not bothered about being grey here. It really doesn't bother me at all. But for the sake of the video, I do get a million every time I mention this organisation here. So I'm going to whack a wee bit of this on the old side panels, and I'll be right back. Alright folks, I've whacked it on, found a wee bit extra for my eyes as well, so I have to leave this on a few more minutes and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, that's that, and I think it went quite well. I'm now going to implement my other secret weapon, which is actually to go out for a walk. Now, it's pretty late now, it's after midnight actually, but I find that a little 10-minute walk in the fresh air gives your face that kind of little glow that you need, you know, makes you look a bit more alert and more with it instead of like you've just climbed out of a skip. So I'm going to now just head out for a wee walk for about 10 minutes. I'll be back shortly. Okay, so you've probably noticed that I'm really pale. I look like I've seen a ghost, you know. And this is me back from the walk, and what I'm doing here is I'm whacking on another secret weapon of mine, which is my incredible Sainsbury's fake tan. I picked this up recently for only about a £5, and it's absolutely incredible, man. It's instant, and you whack it on your face, and within a minute or two you can look as if you've been on holiday. Unfortunately, my microphone is broken here, so I don't know what I was saying. But you can see the enthusiasm, right? Alright, so now that I look as if my head and neck have been on holiday, it's time to talk about the set and the lighting. Now, I was saying earlier on that this whole process is about self-awareness. I mean, for example, I haven't really touched my hair. I haven't put any hairspray or anything on. I haven't even ran a comb through it. These days, my hair care regime amounts to going on my knees every night and saying, "Please stop falling out." So I'm a realist, you know, and I know that I look like a vampire because my skin's so pale, but I'm dealing with that. But you know something, folks? All of us have got certain strengths as well, and you have to play to those. One of my incredible strengths is those fabulous blue eyes that nobody gives a rat's ass about, but maybe my self-esteem does. So one of the little tricks I've discovered is if you wear clothes that match your eye colour, it can be quite good. And in my case, what I've done is I headed off to IKEA and picked up, check it out, a nice cheap set of curtains specially designed to match the colour of my eyes, you know. And these are the tricks of the trade. So let me turn this camera around and we'll have a wee look at the actual set that I'm going to be using. Okay, so let's talk a wee bit about this set, if we can call it that. Now you'll notice I've got the obligatory big mirror here, which is an essential tool of the trade. You should always be checking out how you look and whatnot. But we are in the same room. Look, here's where I was sitting just a minute ago, see? And it's just two computers back to back. If I'm working on Windows, I'm on this side. And if I'm on the Mac, I'm on this side. Oh, and if I'm on Linux, I'm on that side. But this is where I'm going to be doing most of my stuff from. Now, like I say, these are just curtains from IKEA. No big deal at all. And over here, I'll show you this. This is where I keep all my mail and whatnot. So urgent stuff goes to the top. It's a complete mess. Non-urgent at the bottom. Middle stuff, well, who knows? I never open it anyway. Here's my little golden tray thing. And what I try and do here is just put little items of interest on, just to kind of make the thing a bit more interesting than just looking at my old boring face, you know. So these are a couple of little kind of what's the word, ornament guitars. Let me give you a closer look. Can you see them? They're replicas, tiny replicas of the guitars used by the band Status Quo. They've even got all the marks and scratches on them, you know. And I just thought, alright, well, I like the guitar, you know. Why not show a little bit of your personality and have that in the background? I do play the guitar, but so, you know, I've got a lot of guitar plectrums and stuff here. And I have a kind of running theme going on in the background, and the running theme is gold, you know. So if you look closely, I change it around. Sometimes I'll have like a gold watch or a gold coin or some kind of gold thing in the background. And I've got a few other little items down here that I sometimes swap about, you know. I think there's a gold lamp in the background there. And a few other bits and pieces, but it's all gold. Now there's a couple of reasons I'm doing that. One is it's kind of just a bit of fun, you know. Right now I've got a bell. It's not quite gold actually. Do you know, I used to have that in my shop, and I rang it whenever I sold a website. But the thing is, I'm a wee bit of a hippie, and I read once that apparently there's a secret that has been passed through the ages, and the secret is that the ruling elite are aware of this strange property that gold vibrates at a frequency that attracts wealth, you know. This is what I heard. I don't know if it's true, maybe it's all horse shit, but that's one of the things. But the other thing is, I like the book The Great Gatsby, and Gatsby always had gold all over the place as well, you know. And here on my desk I've got a little toy dinosaur, and I picked this up. It's a wee broken thing, but I picked this up from Andrew Carnegie's house. Now, if you don't know who Andrew Carnegie is, you have not been born. Andrew Carnegie is the godfather of self-help, and I'm going to do some videos about him. And his home is about 30 miles from here. He was into dinosaurs, and I headed over and I picked this up, and the tail's broken off it and everything, but it means a lot to me, you know. So that's my little Andrew Carnegie thing that sits right here on the computer, you know. And hopefully I find him an interesting guy, and I'm just trying to attract a wee bit of his vibrational energy here, you know. He was a guy who started from poverty, if you're wondering. He was born in Dunfermline, and he was really, really poor. Long story short, he ended up, his family in desperation moved to America, and he became the richest man in the world. And then famously, he gave fortunes away and opened up hundreds and hundreds of libraries all over the world. He was a real believer in the power of education and the power of books. And I'm going to do some videos on him. He was such an interesting guy. So that's from his house, you know. So that's that. I've got my little couch is a mess. I've got my little display thing here. This is just some curtains and whatnot. And now is probably a good time to talk about the lights, right? Now, I did get really fancy lights, but look, now I just use them to hold up these curtains here. I don't believe in fancy lights. These days, I'm all about these. And I'll just put my hand here for scale. These are small, you know? And it's those Philips Hue lights, and they're really small and nothing special, but they do a fantastic job. So let me just hook you up here behind here and I'll show you this. Alright, you can see that's far too bright, okay, but I've got all these. Can you see that? I've got different scenes. So for example, can you see how that one's saying Arctic Aurora, Savannah, Relax? There are a few of them. So here's Arctic Aurora. It's going to make everything blue, you see. Here's Savannah, sunset. Okay, and we can go on and on and on. Spring blossom. Oh, it looks more like a nuclear blossom, right? But you get the idea. Now, you can make yourself any colour you want with these things. I mean, it's quite easy for me to... that's a bit too bright. But it's quite easy to go into this thing here, this colour wheel. Can you see that? It's maybe a wee bit bright. Let me see if I can down it a bit. Alright, can you see that? Anyway, so I can say, right, let's make the lights green or blue or anything, right? And you can do all of that stuff, purple, you know, and all of that. Now you may be thinking, well, if you can do that, why not just make them all perfectly gold and bronze and give yourself a beautiful tan? Well, you can, but what I discovered is that when you do that, and I'll do it right now, if I try and give myself a really great golden tan with this thing, right, well, it's, you know, what happens, apart from all going a wee bit Donald Trump, is it makes your eyes go yellow and your teeth and your clothes and everything, and it just doesn't work, you know. So I don't really believe in using the lights that way. That's why I would use the fake tan actually. But what I am going to do is, I don't, also by the way, I don't believe in having a preset, because I think your skin and your clothes change. So what I'm going to do is put on some clothes and try some different lighting settings, and I'll fix this curtain as well. So let's do that, right? Alright, so as you can see, I've changed clothes and I've moved the curtains and whatnot a little bit. They're not perfect, in fact they're pretty rubbish. If I had time I'd do something with that, but it should be functional. I've also brought into the scene this microphone. Now, the golden question is, does it sound significantly better than this little £30 microphone, this blue snowball? Does this sound better? I don't think so. But you be the judge. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think there's much difference. Ultimately, microphones just come down to cardboard, you know. Somewhere there's a piece of cardboard doing this. I think it's probably a little bit smoother sounding. Maybe that's about it, you know. Anyway, that's that. Now, we're just about ready to go with this, but the one thing that I don't have right is the lighting, and I'm also a bit pale here. So let me sort the lighting out. Okay, that's not too bad. And funnily enough, I've ended up going with a blue light just to prove it actually. So the one, it's actually a bluey purple kind of a light. So if you, can you see right there? It's really difficult to see. Do you see how it's kind of bluey purple? So that's the colour I've gone with. I'll move forward so you can have a closer look at my face. So my skin is terrible, I've got awful acne. But can you see my teeth are looking quite white? And I wonder if you can see a difference with my eyes. My face is a bit shiny, which is unfortunate, but I think I can get away with it if I sit back here. And in case you're wondering what the time is, I'll quickly show you. Whoops. Alright, it's 2 in the morning. However, I did have about an hour and a half of phone calls, I would say, since I started. So all in all, it took me about maybe 3 and a bit hours to get here. I'm going to call it a few hours, okay? So, just as a little reminder, this was me a few hours ago, and this prunes. Apparently that you say prunes, it makes you look handsome, but this is me now. So I hope you've enjoyed this. You'll notice that most of the things I'm doing are things that are particular to me. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. You can see that my skin is still really white, and also I've got kind of rubbish hair and things like that. So you have to just work with the hand you've been dealt and make the best of it, you know. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and with your permission, I'm going to go and do a software launch now. I'll see you soon.
Oh yes, I'm the great pretender, pretending that I'm doing well. My need is such, I pretend too much. I'm lonely, but no one can tell. Oh yes, I'm the great pretender, adrift in a world of my own. I've played the game, but to my real shame, you've left me to grieve all alone. Too real is this feeling of make-believe. Too real what I feel, what my heart can't conceal. Oh, yes, I'm the great pretender, just laughing and gay like a clown. I seem to be what I'm not, you see. I'm wearing my heart like a crown, pretending that you're still around. Too real is this feeling of make-believe. Too real what I feel, what my heart can't conceal. Yes, I'm the great pretender, just laughing and gay like a clown. I seem to be what I'm not, you see. I'm wearing